Hello people, I'm just going to jump on here again with another video. Obviously it was a couple of weeks ago I did my first video about prepping and the food storage I have with my kit, tins and stuff. So obviously getting into this prepping kind of mindset and lifestyle, I was going through bugging in and bugging out videos, and I thought, you know what, it's a pretty feasible idea to do that sort of stuff. Obviously both options have their own benefits and negatives. So I was been in and out of the woods in my local area, seeing whether if it's feasible. The kit I took, I'm going to start doing reviews and just a bit of knowledge on what I take in the woods. So this is my medical kit. This one will cover most things that can happen in and out of the woods when I'm on my walkabouts, recceing locations to see whether or not I can use it as a viable place to bug out. Obviously not every situation requires you to bug in or bug out. Obviously it depends on your circumstances. So yeah, this is the medical kit I take. This one's in my rucksack, my bug out bag, and it goes in my car as well, because obviously my bag's always in my car. So I'm going to go through this and show you what I personally bring with me. Obviously this isn't any medical direction or training or anything, but this is what I personally take. Alright, so I'm going to open it up and I'll let you know what's going on inside. Alright guys. Right, to start with, this is a Warrior Assault Systems medical pouch. It is Velcro front with zips under it, so it's like a storm flap. It's got a pretty sturdy leather stitched handle. It has a molly system on the back which you can attach this. Because primarily Warrior Assault Systems designed for military use and close protection. Obviously it came with a medical pouch cross sticker. Obviously easy rec edition, so I'm not going to teach you how to suck eggs. So what I've done initially is with these, I put Rager bands around it, and it's got a whistle on it, okay? So this whistle is just a bog standard whistle, but I thought, if I grab this and I am in need some help, at least I'm not going to open it out and have all the kit everywhere, okay? So yeah, it's got a whistle on it, nice long zip pulls. Okay, now as you can see, it's quite an extensive pack. It's not going to cover everything because I'm not going to take a lorry with me full of kit. And I'm no means am I a medical professional, but these will just have the basics, what I think it would benefit you to have when you go out in the field. Okay, to start with, obviously we were dealing with wounds and breaks and burns. Obviously sterile is key, so I have a couple of bundles of gloves. These are latex free, just in case someone else needs them. You're covering all bases while having no latex. Okay. Just a cheap pair of shears for getting through clothing and bandages. Obviously, there's nothing worse than sorting a bandage out and then you have a massive excess of it. So obviously these are quite good. They're cheap. I mean, I'm not going to look into getting the Leatherman ones, but you can pick up the normal clothes shears on eBay for a couple of quid, I would imagine. These are just small, versatile. Okay, so yeah, there's just them. In this pack also, I have ibuprofen gel. So it's just everyday use stuff, nothing massive here. Apparently, you can use this to light fires or aid fires as you would do with Vaseline. But I'm yet to try that. But yeah, apparently this is quite good for that. If it's not, it's not. Obviously, it's ibuprofen gel, so it's got multiple uses. Okay, and then we've got just some antiseptic cream, Savlon. Obviously, cuts and bruises in the field are very, very common. So obviously, I cut myself a couple of weeks back. Obviously, that wasn't from a knife or anything, but a bit of Savlon on top is always better than nothing, isn't it? Okay, so obviously going on with a clean kind of little bit of the cleaning department. So, alco gel or alco foam. This is basically just to make sure your hands are clean, but if you've got gloves on, it should be right. This is probably for after. Obviously what's going on at the minute. These are readily available. That being for a hefty price nowadays. I mean, you could have picked one of these up for not even £1. Now, you're looking at a couple of quid for that. You know, these big chains are capitalising on our downfall, unfortunately. Just a syringe of saline. Obviously, this is good for directional purposes. So obviously, if I have something in my eye or you have a cut, you can just syringe and make sure it's directed towards the area. Nothing worse than cracking open one of those little bottles and just going all over. At least this way you can actually have a bit of purpose with it, okay? Just a lighter. Yep, this is a clipper lighter. There's a decent. I mean, you can take the flint out and actually replace this, and it's gas as well. Never had a clipper fail on me. I mean, you've got the Zippos and the jet ones, but this is just a bog standard one that you can forget about. Okay. Also in my pack, I've got some adhesive tape. This is the medical adhesive tape, so if you do have a bandage like these, just put around something, at least you can fix it with that. Obviously with that you could just split it in half, wrap it around and do a knot, and that's one way of doing it, but obviously adhesive tape's always good. It's like a plasticky material that's got almost like, it feels like ripstock almost, with the little squares in it, but you can actually tear this with your hand. So if you push, you could do it one-handed. Okay. Obviously a Sharpie. It writes on skin, it writes on clothing. Obviously, if you have something like this, like a tourniquet, obviously you have to have a time when you've put it on. So depending on the limb, you write the time in there, because obviously different parts, you should only do that for a certain amount of time. Obviously it's always handy to have a pen that will write on anything. Obviously a tourniquet for the self-explanatory. Obviously being in the field and in the woods, we're dealing with knives and axes. Anything sharp, there's a possibility of cutting you. So obviously cutting quite deeply, you've got a tourniquet there, whack it on, put the time in there if you can, or if someone else can. Obviously if you're trained to help other people in first aid and stuff, then this is what this is gauged for as well. Obviously I'm first aid trained for what as my job, but to an extent, okay? Obviously I'm not a nurse or a doctor or anything like that, but obviously common sense prevails for a lot of these things. It's always better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Obviously that rule of thumb is always apparent. Okay, talking about knives and stuff, I do carry a Mora neck knife with me in this medical pack. Obviously I'm pretty certain that this is legal carry anyway, because it's under a certain length. But obviously, for the reason why it's in here, there should be no problems. We're not stupid, okay? If we're in the prepper mindset or the preparedness mindset, and we do this and we go out into the woods and we do our training, obviously there's a reason why we carry everything. Everything in here there's a reason for it, okay? Also, like this, more than one use, okay? So these knives are very inexpensive. Obviously I don't have the neck appliance like the necklace, but this little bit of kit is amazing. It's super sharp when it first comes. It's got holes in the bottom of the sheath, so it's a plastic sheath. Obviously I think they're about £20 if that. I know you can get cheaper Mora knives, but this one's quite small and compact, so it slots in here wicked. And it works as an emergency blade as well, to be fair. Obviously this is an emergency pack, predominantly medical, but obviously for whatever you need it for, really. Okay, obviously I didn't get it in black. If I drop it and I lose it, I'd be more annoyed that I've lost it, because it's a good bit of kit. The tiny ferro rod. Okay, these, I've tested it a few times, it works, but it's just in case, okay? This in this pack just in case. Okay, so underneath all of this, I have some steri strips. These steri strips are just for grazes and stuff, but not too deep of wounds. Okay, they come in a variety of sizes. I've got a variety of sizes. This is just the basic ones I've got in here. Okay, and then I've just got some soft pore wound dressings. Obviously, it's always good to cover up, especially if you're out in the field. All right. Or obviously, and obviously, if we're working in the dark, I've just got a little pen torch. This stuff's really good. You can stick it in your mouth and just clamp it. And if you're trying to do something on your, and you haven't got a head torch, which you should have if you're in the field at the dark, it's always good to have a backup. So there's that. In that kind of thing is super lightweight. You wouldn't even know it's in there. To be fair, I almost forgot it was in there in the first place. Going back from the micro pore and the soft pore stuff, I've got a little plastic bag here that goes in here, so obviously it can't get wet. Nice little plastic sealy bag. It's just got a length of normal plasters in it. Okay, obviously with the sticky tackness of that, putting in the plastic bag's decent. Also, just some medication really, nothing major, but I've got some Gaviscon in here because there's nothing worse than being out in the field in the middle of nowhere and you get indigestion. Obviously, it can happen at any time. There's some paracetamol, some ibuprofen, and I believe there is dihydrocodone in it as well, just for anything major, and just some water purification tablets in there as well. Because I think if I got all the tablets in one location, then it's easy just to grab this, go through it, and then put it back. Okay. What else? Oh, okay. Something that's pretty, I wouldn't say pretty controversial, but obviously something I'd rather have on me if I'm in the middle of nowhere is just some suturing kits. There's a few different sizes depending on the wound, and there's a few different materials. Okay. I have taken the clamps out as they were awkward to find a place to put them where they're not going to pierce anything. They're just like basically little pincers to use with the needle to go through. But obviously there's that many videos out there, and you know, you can buy practice kits all you want. And obviously if you believe you can do it, then just do it. But obviously this isn't me telling you what to do, this is me telling you what I do. Okay, so obviously that's just me covering myself. This is what I do, this is what I would do. Okay, you guys do what you need to do. I'm just showing you what I take in my kit. Okay, so there's a number of different bits of sizes and materials, and then just a little blade, it's a little surgical blade for bits and pieces. You never know what you're going to need it for, to be fair. Okay, and now on the flip side, this part of it. Okay, I've got some antiseptic wipes, just for cleaning up, to be fair, and I have these burn soothes. So obviously we're making fires, cooking in the field. If you're learning how to make a fire in different ways, there's plenty of things that can go wrong. So it's always good to have a bit of burn smooth in there. Soothe, sorry. They're really good, to be fair. I mean, these run out next year, so I'll have to get my hands on some more. But they're pretty inexpensive, to be fair. Even if you buy one of those like office medical kits, you get stuff like this in there. And it's good to just chuck in the bag, you know. What else? Right, so just a foil blanket, because obviously if something happens and it's extremely cold out and you're waiting for the emergency services, you chuck something like this on you. You should obviously have all your warm clothing anyway, but this is just an extra layer. Okay, nothing fancy, it's just a foil blanket. And obviously for the extreme, I have chest seals. I've got two. This is predominantly for someone to use that knows what they're using it for. Obviously, if it's in here because this is a military pouch, and I brought a medical kit that was predominantly for military use, and these were in it as well. So they stuff them in there. If I use them, I use them. If I don't, at least I've got them. Okay, it's very rare that I'd think of anyone who'd use these, especially in England. But yeah, so they're in the pack anyway, so I just put them in here. Also, obviously, like I said, we're dealing with blades and such in the woods. I've got some wound glue. Obviously not everything needs stitching and not everything can be used with a plaster. So obviously these Dermo Plus Flex, there's just glue, skin sealers to be fair. I mean obviously the old way of using super glue is fine, obviously, but I'm not in Vietnam. That kind of stuff is tiny, you don't even know it's in your pack, and you just put it on, stick together, bandage, sorted. Now obviously, like I said, this isn't me telling you what you should have in a bag or in a pack or what you should bring out to you in the woods. This is what I personally bring. It does seem like a lot. Some people might say it's excessive, but I don't think it's excessive because when it comes to health and medical packs, I think if I can cover as much as I can with the ability of, you know, putting in a pack like this, I'm not going to say anything, you know. I'm glad that I put it in there, basically. Alright guys, what's going on at the minute, you all know. You just need to keep yourself safe, alright, have a good Christmas. I'll try and throw out as many videos as I can because I like doing these videos, I like sharing knowledge. So yeah guys, take care, have a good Christmas, and see you on the next video. Bye for now.